Boom, bada bing. Welcome, welcome. Who got stuck?
Hi, thanks.
Hi, Luke. I see you. I will bring you up in a little bit. We're going to try to get to some other business off the bat. Dominic, I got that change merged right away if you didn't already see that.
Yeah, I saw. Thank you. I was just reading through all the docs, and I was like, "This looks wrong."
You may find that, and I'm very appreciative. So, Reshma, how's it going?
Hi,
Paul.
guys. Good. How are you?
I am getting back into the groove of things. So, doing well. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, we've got half of us here. We're missing Bernard Day. Olivier. Maybe he's trapped in the space there, the Intersect Connect, I think they call it. Give a quick ping because I'd like to have as many as we can. The coder, okay. Let's see. Oh, we need Aura. Apologies, guys. We normally don't start this slow, but who's the last one I'm missing? That's good to know. Let's see here. Okay, Bora just let me know he's going to be a little bit late. So that'll be okay. I'm checking. Man, I sent you guys a lot of messages. Missing previous, it looks like. Previous, current, whatever. Jordan. I miss Jordan. Come on, man. Okay. In any case, we are recorded and we will do what we can to get started. Let's see who else got stuck over here. There's Bernard. There we go. Come on up, my friend. All right.
Greetings, everyone. Greetings, Tex. Thank you.
You bet. All right. Please do not forget to place your name, affiliation, piece here, conflict of interest deal in the chat. Just the start of every meeting, super simple. I have mine on a sticky, so I just copy that over and paste it. Yeah, I do not see any developer advocates today, which is quite interesting, but we will just have to kind of catch up with that if they show up. Yeah, let's kick it off. So welcome to the open source committee meeting. Today is May 28th, 2026. Can't believe it's the end of May already. Did not have a fully prepared agenda for today's session. I've been traveling, but additionally here, it did seem as if there's more that we could do on the onboarding side of things. So I'd love to kind of just have an open conversation, and then we'll run through some of the details. I'm going to share screen, and I know this is recorded, but we're kind of transparency first here in the open source committee. So I'm not worried about anything that's shared on screen aside from explicit application information, which I will do my best to avoid. So we will go from there. I'm going to start with the Google Drive, but let me verify, are there any other questions or next steps that I should move into? Okay. Hi, Olivier. Thanks for joining us. Please just remember, drop your intro there in the chat. All right. Try this again. Okay, there we go. Perfect. All right, so this is the open source committee shared drive. If you are not sure on where to find this, on the left side of your screen, you should have, see if I can draw here. I don't think I can. Oops, I got to come over here. So on the left side of your screen, somewhere over here, you should see shared drives or shared with me. Either way, you should be able to find this open source committee folder. Okay. Anybody gets stuck along the way, if I'm moving too fast, please do just, again, raise a hand, let me know. We'll get there. Okay, I try to keep this pretty clean up on the front. So as a committee member, most often you're going to come in here, go open source committee, open source committee. It's segmented that way because we do have the developer advocates. They also utilize or share this workspace so that the OSC has proper oversight. And so developer advocate workspace is that next folder here. Beyond that, we do have some working groups here under the open source committee. Previously, we had the tooling working group, not currently meeting as I'm aware. We do have the developer experience working group, which is run by the developer advocates. I'm also currently leading the developer experience innovation working group. And that's where we're looking to implement some meaningful change. There was a big pop earlier this year, so we met for about 2 months straight. I've now changed that into a monthly cadence, and that is currently on the last Wednesday of each month. The only difference is that closer to the end of June, we're going to have 2 off-cycle sessions that are designed to have developers come in and provide us feedback of exactly what they see is going on. So if there's anybody that would like to help support on that front, would love some additional write-ups or marketing grabs, anything of that nature that will help us bring developers into the call to say, here's what I'm struggling with on Cardano right now. Ideally, we'll take it from almost any angle. I don't have a specific direction that we're looking to get it. It's just, what direction are these developers coming into the ecosystem? And how can we best support them in that regard? One avenue of which is the developer advocates, but as they may not catch everybody, we do want to extend others that may not feel comfortable to show up to the DevX working group or even the open source committee meeting like we have here today. I've got access in the Telegram, so I'll try to put some things out there as well to get others into that call. But if you have any ideas that I'm not mentioning, or if I'm looking at tunnel vision, please just let me know. All right. let me go back here and I'll show you the Developer Advocate workspace just super quickly. Again, you can come in here and poke around. This website feedback is a folder for the actual feedback tool that they've implemented on their website. This is working files for the DevX working group that they need to adjust various reports. This was for their invoice templates, graphics. Whenever the developer advocates do an event, here's where the recording and transcripts go. If it's a meeting with just them and I'm not around, typically I have those recorded, so these will go into this folder here. There's other folders. Again, this drive structure may not be absolutely perfect, but this is something that we can improve over time. Just not a day-to-day imperative here. So I encourage you to poke around if you have questions, and we go from there. Any questions so far? I know I'm kind of monologuing here, so y'all chip in whenever. Okay. This is the main folder here. So again, open source committee, open source committee. You'll typically see me write this as OSC /OSC. This can be organized in any manner that you see here. So date modified or by the name. Date modified is probably best for those that want to keep up on recently active stuff. And I wouldn't worry too much about the dates. Up here at the folder level, Google's kind of weird about that. Some documents are updated more often. The meet recording and transcripts, as you all may have seen, we do publish these directly to YouTube, and I do my best to get the minutes up before the week is out, but sometimes it bleeds into the next week there. But if you ever wanted to go see the actual source of truth and have the source files, you can always come here and have a look at that. I did have a folder for polls, so I may clean this up a little bit at some point. But again, most of the source files, whatever comes out of Google as far as the meeting recording transcripts, chat transcript, etc., it comes here. Not in this folder, but in this drive, I do have the active notes file. I've decided to keep this top level. So if you look back, this has the archive notes. I'm conscious of trying to keep these documents right around 200, 300 pages. 300 actually sounds like a lot. 200 is best. So roughly 12 to 18 months is what we're going to see segmented. And so this active notes document is going to come all of 2025, probably 6 months of 2024. I have to double check that. I do keep some carryover there. But when 2025 is over, I will segment that into another document and then carry on forward with a revised active notes. And again, that's just document sizing to keep it understandable so you guys can go and reference something if you have a specific time period. We did have some public presentations previously. I haven't updated a lot of those, so those are just individual files that aren't yet placed. I know I'm going backwards here now. Open source strategy or OSC strategy. This is an important one to keep an eye on there. Aside from everything else that we're doing, if you have a specific desire to have a look at the strategy or suggest that we need to review or change something, this is going to be the place where you're going to find your source documents to do so. You can see some archive charters there, some notes about the strategy. Again, I do believe these documents are relatively old, but as we need to create or revise a new one, happy to be working on that, and this is the folder where that would be stored. It's also super important to know what the organization strategy is here. That way, if you create a document on your own, you know where to dump it and put it in. If you're not exactly sure, just let me know, and I will either give you a link or I'll give you the thread. Again, OSC /OSC, and then I'll give you another caret and whatever the underlying folder is. Some of these are old, like this one here. I'm going to move this into archive. I don't want to confuse anybody. Comms review, just something we haven't really kept up on. Open source office, that's just for me, so you don't have to worry about that. Budget 2025, if you want to look at how we went through and actually this is proposals that we reviewed in 2025. We haven't done any review this year, but that's what we were looking at before. Let me check this one here. Milestones. We'll circle back on that. So no worries. I know I wasn't sharing. Let's see here. Budget 2026. So anything that is active currently. In the Discord, I did just put out this document here, OSC Budget Proposal 2026 comments. So we've already gotten a few comments. I have not been able to, but have also elected thus far not to put a comment up without having some additional committee input. So please do leave your responses as a suggestion, and maybe we have some time. We'll get back into this document later today so that we can get some things up by the end of the week. Unless there is an argument, I will try to get to some responses. If there's no committee input, I will provide something to the best of my ability. If there's corrections that need to be made, y'all can just let me know. Yeah. Yes. No, not that one. Sorry. No. Good question. Should be this here.
Okay, I see. Because it's also labeled 2026 to 2027 on the page there.
Oh, so yeah, yes. So I'm sorry. Yes, correct. But this is the absolute full proposal that's got a little bit more detail. This is where the comments are actually going, is the Hydra link that I shared.
All right, thank you.
Yep. Thank you for the clarification. Okay. Also spotlights. Haven't really done a ton of these lately, so it just hasn't been majorly updated. Different events, we may do some management in here, but a lot of these folders may just move into archive soon, because pretty much everything we do, you're going to have, like, for the next month or so, there's 3 folders you're going to come in here and use if need be. This is your resource if you want to go back and watch a meeting without giving me extra views on YouTube, which is not required, but if you'd like to, you can. Nobody? Tough crowd. The possum folder is going to be your primary one. I have this set up in my bookmarks there, and then obviously the budget folder there. So that's if you prefer to go folder by folder. This one here, I definitely do recommend bookmarking. It'll be super helpful for you to just jump right back to it. I'm hoping that this is set up pretty straightforward here. Okay, we have programs and we have signed contracts. Signed contracts contains as it says, signed contracts for each program. So this means the contract that we have signed with Intersect for the use of our treasury funds. It also means the contracts that we have signed with other partners. So in this case here, one of the tooling projects that we did is with Cicerium. And so here's one of their milestones that you can find in here. This is where I'm storing a record of the PDFs. If you know something was signed off, submitted, anything of that nature, but it is not in this folder, that is a great place to call me out. I do my best to really stay on top of, like, good records, but I'm not always the best. So again, please feel free to kind of check me as any other member of the community would. And if we are missing something internally as a record, again, feel free to let me know. But here you can see this is the milestone acceptance form that that I submitted on our behalf, and this was signed, uploaded, so on and so forth. Here was a change request that we did on this program. We had to adjust the milestone. So all of this back-end information, again, storing a record here for OSC purposes. But if something's missing, please let me know. This one here, you can pay attention a little bit to this title. So the batch 2, batch 1, batch 2, and SOW, statement of work. So if you ever want to know what's supposed to happen with one of these programs, you're going to want to look for this file again: batch number, statement of work number, and then our budget number, or budget line, budget code, if you will. What this will show you is the original, again, statement of work with milestones that we signed off with Intersect. If there is something different here, that's where you may see the change request form. And so the change request may include material changes to the actual milestone, may include date changes. Very rarely would it include numerical changes, but nonetheless, those are all types of changes you might see on a change request form. I was picking on tooling, but you can see out of the 6 active programs, we do have a folder for each. So again, this is in the signed contracts, it's for your reference, but it's also for checks and balances if you feel so endowed to keep me in line, which is appreciated. All right. Now the big questions everyone's asking, right? Where do I work? What do I do? Well, this is your folder. Possum OSC Treasury 2025-2026 Carrot Programs. If you are looking for a way to contribute or not sure where you should be contributing, I guarantee you it will be in this folder. Again, each of the programs are listed here, and I will try to work on archiving some of this stuff, but I think it's best that we see the official names. So Developer Advocate is obviously active and ongoing. Bug Bounty, active and ongoing. Code Forest, previously agreed to return to Treasury. Travel and events, this one's actually closing out after the summit here, so we shouldn't have too much more, although there may be flexibility for 1 or 2 events near the tail end of Q2 here if need be. So I will open this up to any member of the committee. If there's an event that you are looking to go to and that provides value back to OSC, Intersect, Cardano, etc., please let me know, and as we get clear on finalizing the summit costs, I will let you know if there's anything left for us to expend. Incident management program, this is the security officer. So security officer Mike Cornyn, I don't know, should check. I don't know if he's in the call today. It's a tendency to show up sometimes. Let's see. I don't see him yet. That's okay though. Anyway, that's what that one is. Summer of Code, again, previously agreed to return to Treasury. Accelerated program, this is actually a great conversation or great point to get you all involved. I was speaking a little bit more, and because we still haven't been able to move on this in terms of the withdrawal, I can understand that that's not exactly our problem, but we're running on a deadline basically until September, when it's 1 year since we originally received our funds. And so the preference would be to simply just return the funds here. We have a more pressing program under project support services, which is going to be supporting like the development of metrics. It covers the X account, premium access, and other various costs. So we're kind of just simplifying. This means that we would have returned a total of 3 programs, but done our best to deliver on a total of 7 from the 2025-2026 year. Would you guys prefer, just so I have it trackable, a poll here in the Google Meet or a poll in Discord?
I prefer Discord personally because it's easier to keep track of.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah,
a problem. I will. Oh, sorry. Well, guys and gal. Okay, I will put a poll up in Discord probably before the end of the meeting there, but again, the decision on that, or the confirmation, is just, can we return the accelerator program but still keep our juices behind project support to get delivery there. All right, maintainer retainer program, of course, active. Tooling sustainability program, we're actually going to talk about that in a little bit because we do have a special guest, I'd call it. And then milestone acceptance forms. So milestone acceptance forms is primarily going to be actioned by myself, and if you all are still in agreement and vote accordingly, Sebastian, that's where we'll be looking at those. But feel free, I mean, it's open to you as a committee member. You can review that at any time. If you have an issue, a concern with anything that is put into a milestone acceptance form while it's in draft or before it's signed, please feel free to leave a comment and we can address it accordingly. I could go deeper. I don't know if I need to. I've been talking for a lot here, so I don't mind giving a whole hour presentation, but would love some additional feedback if you guys still have questions on where to go, what to do as far as where in the drive. Reshma.
Hi, everyone. So I have something to talk about this MRP round two applicants. I think I request all OIC members to add the scores in the MRP round two applicants so that we can move forward uh, and we can set up the interviews by next week. What do you think, Tex?
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. Only in the score, there is a scoring sheet. I think I have added my rational in Discord also.
Yeah, I had a comment on that for the repos that applied. It would be very helpful if you could link to the specific repos so that we don't have to try to hunt them down elsewhere and possibly look at the wrong ones.
Yeah, I have added the names also. If I miss any names, please tell me the names. I will add that too.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, I'm back. Okay. Again, I think we have 4 out of 5. Any outstanding questions here on Google Drive, where to go, how to do? My last note I will mention is that you all have edit access to pretty much every document in this folder here. You have what the access is called contributor. So you can edit pretty much any file that's in here. Just use your best judgment. If you feel it's perfect that you can just edit it, then edit it, right? In like a Google Sheet, this is a good place for you to just add your own stuff in your column under your name. If you're working in like a Word document, sometimes it may be best to comment or use the suggesting feature. That way we understand who the contribution came from, and if it needs to be discussed, so on. There are times, and again, you guys can call me out for this if we need to do something different, but there are times when I will go back and I will review through documents. If no other comments have been made and the suggestion has been out there for a while, and or if the document needs to be completed right away, typically I will just accept a suggestion and move on because it did come from a committee member. And again, there is a track record here with the Google Docs of who made what edit and so on. So we'll start to see some of this in practice as we keep moving forward, but that's just some general expectations I wanted to set with you all. Okay. I believe we went over ClickUp last time. Does anybody that's new still have questions on ClickUp?
Question, just simple question on, is there anything specific that overlaps directly with the Google Drive that we should be aware of, or is it a separate thing? I haven't looked around too much on ClickUp yet, to be honest.
Sure. That's actually a great question, right? So what I would say is yes and no. Not specifically, because a ton of what you do, the likelihood is that you are going to, apologies. Let's see here. All right, community space. More work for me than for you, but if we come in here, if we come to list, the ClickUp is going to be more of a checks and balances here, with the exception of I will try to stay active on these agenda items. So when there's an agenda and we have, subtasks, right? Agenda 1, agenda 2. Let me check and see here. You guys have edit access for the most part. So yeah, it should allow you to edit something once it's created. So typically I will create this ahead of time, and you should be able to add a new subtask here. If you are not for some reason, then what you can do is you can leave it over here in the comments, whatever it is that you want to add. I should get notified every time you place a comment, I believe, but if not, you can always just @ me. I know it says @ me, but no, it'll be @ Tex or @ Terrence, and that should pop up for you. And then that way I'll know to address it directly. If you do an @ with my name, I will definitely get an email notification on that. So that's in here. That I know is more for agenda. I haven't had a chance to do a full audit of the programs yet because we're just trying to focus on the delivery piece. So like these milestone actives, I'm going to try to keep these moving forward. So this is another one of those checks and balances, but also keeping you up to date. So if you want to know, hey, we're delivering on the maintainer retainer program, where are we or where should we be? Well, currently this says we're on M3, right? That's milestone 3. So you come in here and this is onboarding 2. What this means is that we closed out onboarding 1, which was adjusted to 8. Onboarding 2 here, I believe, says an additional 10. 10 maintainers onboarded. So you can see here the acceptance criteria and the deliverables. Again, this might seem like a lot of duplicative work, but as a committee member, you may choose to look at this in different ways, and it's just my responsibility to provide it to you. But you can reference back to this as kind of like a checklist. Once this is done, then I will move this into from milestone submitted. This actually kind of came together nice and colorful here, so we're going to try to keep it all aligned. I don't know if this is too confusing or anything of that nature, but I'm hoping this shows as a good record, even though it's not immediately updated as soon as something happens. Apologies. Sorry, Boris trying to come in. Okay. Questions, comments, concerns, feedback? Tech sucks. Kidding. All right. Yeah. What's next? What else do we have? Aside from nearly everybody here, which is great.
I don't have any further questions, but thank you for the rundown. I think this was needed.
Okay. I will stop sharing for a moment. Let's see. Did we get Bora yet? There he is. Come on up, my friend.
Hello, everyone. Sorry for being late. I had a concurrent call.
Inexcusable. Just kidding.
Seeing everyone here.
So, Bora, I do apologize that you missed this here, but I just went through the Google Drive and we went back through the ClickUp again here as well. I'll encourage you to kind of watch that back once it's up just to see it, or I can walk you through it side by side. But did you have any specific questions on where to access something, how to access something, etc.
No, I think Discord was well explanatory. There's enough notice for everyone to follow through.
Okay. So I will get back into a little bit of format here. I did see our developer advocates pop in later on after we got started. So give some space here for a developer advocate update. Whoever, everyone, somebody, just 1 to 2 minutes each, whatever you guys have for us.
Yes, I guess I can go first. Yes, so last week we did have a virtual workshop that Tex sort of aired over the open source summit that he was in. We did have a number of attendees, did something cool in the call. Some of us are planning other workshops, so I think Dan has one lined up either next week. I have another monthly meeting tomorrow with the community here in Nairobi, where I've invited one of the community members to give a workshop or a walkthrough of smart contracts. So that's a good sign that the community is growing. Yes, so that's everything I have for you in the last 2 weeks.
No requirement, but anything from Haroon or Uche?
Hi everyone. Yeah, not too much, but one thing I needed to add was for me, I was able to like do a physical meetup for the DA satellite event. That's the event at Open Source Summit. So I was able to get a few people come together and join this session physically, which was really nice. Yeah, we were able to like go through some technical sessions together, and yeah, we were also able to like join in with other members of the community from other parts of the world. That's from Kenya and also from Mauritius. So it was really, really nice. So yeah, I'd like to mention that.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing there. Emmanuel, I know you guys were going to try to have a physical event. Did something prevent that, or?
Yeah, I did shoot up a text in the developer advocate water cooler. There was some ruckus in the CBD here in Nairobi, so people were not able to travel during the morning of the event, unfortunately. So we had to pivot immediately to an online session. Yeah, but it all worked out well, either ways.
Roger that. Well, I will not harm any review for the sake of safety. So I appreciate you guys taking the right steps there. All righty. If nothing else for developer advocates, I will hand off to Luke here in just a moment, but I do want to explain for everybody where we're at or what we're looking at. Before the newly elected came in, and I apologize, I'm going to go off camera. I usually try not to do this, but my system, I want you guys to be able to hear me. I got an email back finally from MLabs regarding their programs, their tooling projects that we approved. One of which is Plutonomicon CTL. And again, that one was approved. I'll go back to the, see if I can share this stuff here. Can everyone see?
Yes.
Okay. So for Plutonomicon, there was a review. We did accept this here for funding in the band 1, 15,000 to 35,000 US dollars or fiat. And so you guys can review these documents accordingly, but basically this was for the feedback that we had collected, and I've sent it to them. This translates into that's a note, sorry. There we go, provisional. Open it up. So this here. All right. CTL has to do with the upcoming hard fork, and looks like there's 2 milestones. The proposal fitting right in there with the 30,000. So there are some other details or milestones that you all can look through, and I'll find a way to share this with you accordingly. I know I'm putting this out right off the bat, Luke. It'll go public at one point, so it's just super quick. But yeah, long story short, CTL, again, previously approved by the open source committee here, and 30,000 as the spend, and that's come through. So I will get this over to you all in Discord for review and comment. And if there's no qualms, then we'll get it running. The reason that I am sharing here, there is kind of a request or a polite denial here. So OSC did previously also approve Lambda buffers. And again, that one is here. This was approved in band 3, 2,000 to 5,000. And actually, before Luke comes in on his part, before or after, I'm going to, Sebastian, ask you to come in here because I know you had some close review on this. As I understand it, there's a request for additional funding to support this tool as we move forward. So we get a live in-meeting request to adjust the band approval. That I can also put to a vote in Discord for confirmation. So let me pass it off to Luke to probably give us a better explanation of what they're looking for. Before I do that, or sorry, Luke, go ahead and come in. I'm going to pull up the bands, sure, just so the committee can see it. All you, sir.
Okay. Yeah, so first of all, just want to say thank you to the committee for approving these tools. We're very excited about that. And also wanted to apologize because I think the approval came through on like maybe the 4th of May and we didn't respond until just recently. We were a bit tied up with Treasury matters. But yeah, wanted to just say thank you very much. And I think that we put together a good work package scope for CTL. I hope that is approved and sits well with the committee. Happy to field questions, make adjustments, whatever is needed there. We weren't, or me personally, wasn't entirely sure of the template / format. So we kind of provided a typical milestone sort of breakdown that we do. Happy to translate that into contract situations, further breakdowns, whatever's needed on that side. And the last point was, of course, just mentioned with Lambda buffers. So I spent some time talking with Ben, our CTO, who unfortunately has an obligation right now and couldn't come. And then also with the lead developers on that tool. It's a bit complicated, and we really appreciate the support, but it's a bit hard to guarantee that we can really bite off a piece of work that makes sense within that band. And we had to refuse that request just because we don't want to say we can do something and then not be able to follow through. That said, the lead developers do have ideas, and I kind of communicated that in a brief email, at least sent to text. I think it was to a few other members too. Basically, they want to work on making Lambda buffers as a pretty ambitious type translation library, as I understand it. And especially when you're dealing with off-chain types that need to be translated into on-chain types, and there's different potential language stacks, that comes with a lot of hidden surprises when you're dealing with code generation, is my understanding. So there's ways to smooth this out, as I've been told, actually involving potentially Covenant, which is something we've talked about before. Happy to provide details, but it's kind of on a side. To make this better. And why do we want to make this process better? Because it's the most heavy friction part of the tool for external users. So if that's something that's interesting to the committee, there's a possibility that I believe we can do this in the band up from the one that it was in, which I believe is like 5,000 to 15,000. But we could have a scope package for that. Of course, we're not here to twist arms. We're just providing context, and we're happy with any decisions that come through. But we just wanted to make that known, to be fully upfront and provide full context. And yeah, just wanted to have a touch point, apologize about our delay, and happy to field questions or forward them to lead engineers as needed. But yeah, that was it. I just wanted a touch point.
Wonderful. Thank you, Luke. And I will give this live to the committee here for questions, comments, concerns, thoughts, general tendencies.
Yeah, the requirement is going from band 3 to band 2, right? If I understand it.
That is the request, if
Okay.
it's feasible.
Okay. Yeah, I think we can discuss this internally. Yeah. Or I don't know.
Yeah, so the question here, Sebastian, and I don't want to apply too much unnecessary pressure, but does anybody in the committee, based on previous review, have an issue with elevating this to band 2? Basically, I'll put the poll in Discord that says, do you approve an upgrade to band 2, yes or no? But I wanted to be able to answer any questions, and since we do have some time with Luke and not much else on the agenda right this second, I just getting to the details.
I'd like to know what would be the specific final result after that you will get with the funding.
I think we have a long sort of scoping document that the engineers provided. But to boil it down, it's essentially improving the CLI and then improving the code generation on the back end, and probably stripping out some of that code generation to favor the Covenant approach, which is supposed to be more language agnostic and easier to use. So this is kind of a DevX play to make it easier to use product. And sorry, this is a little bit hand wavy just because I'm not an engineer on this directly, but we have a scoped package that I'm happy to forward through to the committee whenever it's convenient.
Thanks for for information.
Please feel free to send me anything you have, Luke. That way I can include it for their review here. I'm going to put a poll up for probably about a week. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think notes I have right now are a little bit rough. If it's all right, I'd like to smooth them out and submit it by early next week. Is that reasonable?
I was trying to post the vote today, so
okay.
Yeah. So the other pressure here, Luke, as you may have been hearing, is that we have until September to keep moving with things. Otherwise, funds go back to the Treasury, which again is not necessarily the worst thing in the world, but if we can help somebody across the line before we get to those deadlines, that's better.
Okay.
So if there's anything that you can provide by the end of the week that might assist in the rationale, please feel free to share it. That way, because basically by next Thursday, when the vote would end in 1 week, I will collect whatever data is there, and I'd hate for them to only have 3 days to review it.
No, I understand that completely. Okay, then I will send this through tomorrow, and it's a pretty decent package. So I think yeah, that should provide the details you need.
Okay.
Was there anything else?
I don't think so. I'm working on Discord for a second. I apologize.
Oh, no worries. No worries.
No, I just want to say it's like important to have. This is the first time looking at your project, so I'm still kind of new here. But the basic thing you have written out here is something I'm very interested in. So looking forward to the actual notes.
Yeah, yeah, happy to provide those, and I think it's a pretty useful project. It's ambitious too, as code generation is. But yeah, I think it serves a real role.
We have an open question in the chat. I could also amplify it. So I'm a newly elected member of the open source committee. So I'm not quite sure how the workflow has been before. But to evaluate changing a band, for example, the KPIs used or the metrics that are evaluated, how do you evaluate usage, the community adoption, or how many projects are using? Are you guys tracking these?
There is
Yes,
files.
we have a file of adopters, and I think we provided it previously in our original application.
Right, then it's on my end to read up.
Yeah, no, sorry. I just have to pull up the document. I can include this with the notes to text if that's reasonable. I just don't have it right here. But this is something we put together earlier, I believe.
Thank you.
And let me get the repo link in the chat really fast here.
I'm going to move the tooling working group folder internal here. That way you guys have it in the same spot. Hang on a second.
Okay, put the repo in the link in the chat there.
Yeah, I will leave this here for just a moment while I'm working on organization. Okay. All right. So we're running down the end, and I'm not trying to use every last available minute, but I just want to make sure you all are familiar. So it is my responsibility to let you all know. I was logged in yesterday, so that locks me right in. Anybody is able to put their name forward for either the chair or the vice chair position. In order to do so, right now the application phase opened this morning about 2 hours ago. What you would do is you would navigate here to voting events, you navigate to active, and you should be able to see open source committee chair, vice chair elections. The only people who are able to apply as a candidate are those people that are members of OSC. So members area is already set to lock that out or set up that access appropriately. 1 week from today, the applications will close and the vote will immediately open. So the reason I'm showing this to you is that every member of the committee, regardless of whether you are putting your name forward, will need to come and submit a vote. The way that this works, the individual that receives the highest number of votes will be set as the chair. The individual with the next highest number of votes would be the vice chair. I haven't actually seen the voting flow in and of itself because I don't get a vote. So if anybody wants to walk through that at all, I'm happy to do so with you. But essentially, again, what we previously discussed, and this, I'm not pushing an agenda here, but we previously discussed the potential of Sebastian becoming the chair and Kambali or 8 Pro, as we see here, becoming the vice chair. There seemed to be some pretty straightforward agreement on that. And so as long as that's what the committee would still like to do, I just need to ask that you submit your votes accordingly so that we are complying with the rest of the Intersect process here. But just wanted to show you what it was, let you know that anybody is still eligible to put their name forward. If you do put your name forward, obviously we're a pretty tight group, so I would encourage you to market yourself to the other committee members if you feel you're ready for that responsibility. And yeah, other than that, I mean, I'll take questions.
Does the functions of a chair or vice chair differ from committee to committee, or do they share one permission flow that every other committee also shares? Does that make sense?
Yes. So there is a roles and responsibilities document for let me see here. Just a second. If I could do this and that, and policies, members, roles and responsibilities. So committee members, chair and vice chair. So in terms of access or responsibility, this is all listed here.
All right, I can navigate myself from there. Thank you.
Perfect. Yeah, the biggest thing with the chair, aside from anything else, when it comes to a committee having budgets such as the OSC, the chair does have quite a bit more of an involved role because we are not immediately jumping to a third-party assurer, meaning we're not paying somebody to double and triple audit our stuff. Basically, we have audits from Intersect staff who's helping us administer the budget. We then have audits through Intersect's audit provider. And so when it comes down to our milestone acceptance forms, what was agreed with the administrator, the Intersect, is that the chair would sign off on what I put on, what I as the secretary put on the milestone acceptance form, right? Basically, the chair says, yes, Tex put together exactly what we said happened or did, or what the committee had put together for whichever. So that there is an additional responsibility there that may not be clearly indicated here, but again, that's more specific to when we have a budget, which we do currently, and hopefully we will in the future as well. But it looks like we do have some legwork to do there, some comments and clarity to get out there. So the last thing I'll mention with 2 minutes left is that I think it would be beneficial for us to do an X space in the next 2 weeks. I'm pretty comfortable or flexible based on the timing, but just if you guys are interested in doing an X space to market the open source committee proposal. I have not spent a lot of time on X because I'm not super fond of those comments, and there is an official system of how to collect them. But if there are those that would like to come in and question what we got going on, I'm happy to again jump on the next space and with the assistance of you all defend and market the proposal accordingly. If anybody has suggestions on dates, please drop that in the Discord for me. Okay. All right. I am back, meaning that I'm not explicitly traveling potentially until the end of July, right? So I will be on top of the Discord a little bit more, which means please jump in there and be communicating. Yeah, I can't force anybody to do anything, but if you are online and working, if you can at the very least have Discord open in the background in some notification format. I try not to overuse the @OpenSourceCommittee tag, but when it needs to be, hey, I haven't had responses in like 48 hours from anybody, I'll put that up there. I'll use the tag accordingly just to make sure that you guys are seeing that notification for something to address. All right. We will close it out here for today, but definitely thank you so much for your patience and your attention. Any feedback, please feel free to provide that to myself here at any time. Please also feel free to share feedback with another committee member if you don't feel comfortable sharing it with me directly or any other member of Intersect staff. But until the next time, have a great day.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.